workshops and all of that for the entire month of October. And the idea is to help us grow and build up our skill in everything we do, right? And today we'll be starting with week one, and we have a very great person in our midst. I would allow him to do the honor of introducing himself. But while he is at that, I want us to still invite our friends, post on our various groups, as many as we can. Mr. Amatria, if I pronounce your name well, I don't want to murder your name. Please kindly confirm you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Good evening, sir. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. And I'll begin my recording now, and then you can have the floor. I'll let you know when the recording has begun. Okay, it has begun.
Okay,
All right. So you can please have the floor. Thank you so much.
you're welcome. Hello, everyone. So, welcome to week one on building with Power BI. And for today's class, we'll be looking at how we can create a dashboard, but not really. Um, it should not really be focused on the dashboard. To focus on the processes involved in building the dashboard. So, from the um, loading of the data in, so from the ETL process, the extract, transform, and load process, to creating the measures, structuring the dashboard, and also presenting insights. So I don't know if you can start sharing my screen now.
Please do. The floor is
Okay,
yours. Please do.
okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Okay, I'm coming. Let me set up. Okay, can you see my screen now?
It is coming up, at least from
Yes,
my
we
end.
can.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. So we're creating this dashboard today. So we have so many things to look at, like some little things you need to look out for. Like we have the use of feed parameter here. So we also have um, time intelligence. We have the formatting of slicers and also some conditional formats. So for this dashboard, as you can see, if I select a metric, I have everything changing. So the aim is not to have like maybe 2, 3 pages of dashboard. Just wanted to just put it all in one page so that you can use these feed parameters to switch to see the metric you want to see, and every other thing in the chart also changes to work with the same metric. So let's start creating it. So everything I've done here is in Power BI. I also did my background here, so I did not bother to build on Power Point or Figma. Just have a background here. So I'll be doing everything the same way I did here. I'll be starting with the creating the background. Then we go into the measures before we start adding the chart and everything. So let's go to our new Power BI file. I'll be loading my data now. So I'm going to use the text CSV option. So I'm looking at e-commerce data. That's what I'm loading in. So the data is already clean, so I don't need to take it to Power Query. I'll just load it to Power BI. So if you want to do any transformation or cleaning, then you can click on the transform data so you can get to the Power Query option and do your transformation there. So for the data, we have 50K rows, and we can look at the little preview of the table. So what are we looking at here? This is just like a simple e-commerce data, or we can call it a sales data. We have columns like the order ID, the order dates. We have customer ID, the segments, city, state. So all these are just for customers. Then the metrics we have here. So there's the sales quantity, the sales metric. there's a discount metric, although there's the discount is not for all the products, a discount metric here, and there is a profits, so metric for profits. So with this now, we can now look at what if there's any we need to create as a calculated column now, we need to create it before we start bringing in the other, creating the other tables. So let me confirm from the one I've built. I think I have one column for age group. So okay, I just have one column for age group. So I'll be creating grouping the age from the least to the highest. So let's look at the data. From age we have, let's go by ascending order. So we have from 20 to, if we go by descending to 60. So we can do like age group for like four age groups. Let's say from 20 to 30, 31 to 40, just like that. So we can have like the age of the customers grouped in like four. So I'll just use a calculated column. So on this my table, I'll just click on new column. I'm going to create that one now. So age group, and I'll be using the switch function to switch the age group. So age, so when the age is, let's say when it's less than or equals to 30, then we have 21 to 30. So 21 to 30 years. Then we just copy this column. We'll just copy this row down. So to move a row down, you can use the alternate and shift, then your down button. So we need 4 of it. So what we do now, we just change it. So this will be when it's less than 40. So meaning that because we put this first one when it's less than or equals to 30, meaning that this second one was 31 to 40. So we're going to use 31 to 40. And the next one should be 41 to 50, then 51 to 60. So we'll do the same thing to change this one from 41. Since we have 40 ending here, so the next one should be 41 to 50, and we have 51 to 60. So we have group all of our age. So you know the age, the minimum was from 20. So if it's less than 30, then it should be from 20 to 30 because we have the age from 20. So 20 to 30, then 31 to 40, 51 to 60. So create that column. Then we need a date table. So because we're also doing time intelligence, so we need a date table. So I'll be creating the date table. We go to my modeling, new table. Just be using, I'll use the calculate calendar auto to get my dynamic dates. So date table. So I want to group all of them in one table. So I'm going to use add column, then calendar. And the first one we are looking at here, so we need our year. So I have to put it in to show that is a column name, column header, or the name of the column. So we need to put it in quotes. Then the function for it. So year date. So we also need maybe a quarter if we want to use quarter, but let's just add all the hierarchy for the year. So I will also be copying the row down so that I can just switch for each of them. So this should be for quarter. Then for quarter, the function is quarter. So I want to have like a Q before the quarter. So I'll just put the Q here and to join it so that I'll have Q before the 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I need a month. So if we use this as a month number, we can use the function for month number, which is month. And this should be for the month name. So let month name, let's leave it as month. Then for the month name, we need to format the date to get the 3-letter month name. To format date, then our 3-letter month name is just MMM. So we just end here. Let's remove this last one, and we'll close the add column. So we need to see our date. So our date table have been created. Let's look at it before we check. So we have our year. Everything is here. Then we'll just connect it so that we not forget. So let's join it. We're looking at analysis. We're looking at it for. We only have one date here, which is other date. So we just have to join it with the other date. And the relationship should be one to many from the date table, while many to one from the others table, like this one. So instead of leaving it as e-commerce data, I just want to shorten it. I'll just leave it as data. So I'm going to rename it. Then I'm going to add, let me add my table for measures. So I need my measures to be in a table. So we'll have our table here, our measures table. So we can now start the measures. So what measures are we looking at? So we can go back to what we have here. We can see that the measures we are looking at here, we have 5 measures, like for this metric: sales, profits, profit margin, average discount, and for the quantity. So before we create the feed parameter, because this is a parameter, we need to first have the measures, so we can use those measures to now get the parameters. So we can put them like this in to get the feed parameters. So we'll start creating the measures now. So I'll be quickly adding them. So let's do for, okay, I think I should do the background first. Let's create the background so that once we have the measures, we can start putting it in. So I want to use the same canvas size I have here. So let me just see. So 1.8 by 3000. So because we need more space for the chart. Then our canvas background. So we have canvas background. So purple. I'm going to reduce its transparency. Transparency 9. Then we'll start adding the shapes. So I think this is okay. Then let's add the shape for the dashboard. So I don't want to use the whole background. I want to create like a shape inside for the dashboard. So going to insert, then get the rounded rectangle shape. Then on the format, we need the roundness. We need to reduce the roundness. For the color, so this is white. For the border, to border we use black. Let's increase the border size. Okay, then we can just copy. Let's look at the shape size. So we can just get one from here. So I'm going to start with, okay, this is a shape. So let's start with this. So how many, we're going to check, look at the width and the height. So this is the width and the height, but for time's sake, I'll just be copying it because you have more to do. So I'll just copy them. So just click on my shift to copy all of them. Then I'm pasting it here. So I have the background. The only thing I need to do for this one. So for this one, there's no shape at the back. Is a slicer, so it's formatted in a way that when you select, so the selection, the one selected will have the darker color, while the other side not selected will be light. So we're going to set it up in the parameter on the slicer to have this effect to show us this way. So we'll have everything here. So I can start doing the measures so that we can start adding the charts. So for the measure, the first measure I'm starting with, so I'm going to start with sales, and I'll be putting them in a folder. So once I create a measure, I'll put it in a folder to be easy for to be arranged properly. So I need them to be in a folder. So for the total sales, so just save it as sales. So I've just taken the aggregate of the sales. So we use the sum function. We need to save it as currency because I think it's not saved as currency on the column. So you need to save the measure as a currency. Then if you have one measure in, you can take off the column one. So the measures table will go to the top. Then we're going to add it to a folder. So I can call this one just adding aggregate measures on the folder. So on this folder, we'll create the remaining one. So we need the profit margin, the average discount, and the quantity. So let's go profit is equals to, so also the aggregate of the profit sum. Then the next measure, so profit margin. So profit margin. So we're going to divide the profits by the total sales. And this should be a percentage. So save it as percentage. So our total quantity. So also the aggregate of the quantity sum. Then this one should be a whole number and the average discount. So average discount will take the average of the discount column. So this should be in currency on 2 decimal points. So now we have them here. So because we're doing for our slicers, we need to have, okay, if we come back here for the dashboard, we're showing only the year on year. So we're not going to create the previous year separate. We're going to have it like in the variable where we can get the year on year from it. So we'll not just create previous year for all of them, just have it in the variable. This is a card visual. So the card visual is just under, so the card visual is placed under the slicer so that they can show at the back of it, but they will not be clickable unless you go to click on it. So that when you click, this should be at the front. So when we click on this slicer, we can have it change, but the values is still the same. Even when you change the year, the values will change, but it's not like clickable. So this is a card visual which I'm going to create and place under this particular one. So on the card visual, what we're only showing is the year on year. So I'm not going to create the previous year. So I'll just go straight to creating the year on year. So because I don't have a previous year, the first thing I need to do to create my previous my year on year is to get the previous year. So let's start from the first one. Let's say sales is equals to, so the variable, first variable will be for previous year, and to get previous year is to calculate, to filter the expression sales and use previous year, either using the previous year function or same period or date add. But we're using previous year. Then for the date, we'll close it. So if we have gotten our previous year and in the variable now, we can now get another variable for year on year. So let me add hyphen underscore. Let me add underscore to it. to divide. So what we want to do, we want to first get the difference between the current year and the previous year. So you're going to do, are going to do sales, which is the measure, minus the variable year, previous year. So this variable acts as also a measure. Since we don't have it as a measure, we want to subtract it. So we're going to call in the variable name, then comma 2 is divided by the variable previous year. So for year on year, then we can close this and go to the next line. So if we close this way, because we need it to be like a text value, so we need to format it to show it as percentage. So unless we want to return this particular year on year, then we would have saved it as a percentage. But I'm not going to return it now. So I want to first format it as a percentage. So let's call this one the year on year percentage is equals to 10. We're going to format. So I'm formatting the variable year on year, and the format will be 0.0%, so one decimal point. Then on my return statement now, I have to return. So return. So I want to return this year on year, but I want to add a plus sign in front of it, because if there's a negative value, the negative sign will always show. And I'm not using any indicator arrow for this, so I just want to place the plus sign before I bring this. So I'm going to return the return statement. So if the year on year is greater than zero, if it's greater than zero, meaning that it's positive, so we need plus icon. So put it in quotes. And if it's negative, it already has a negative icon, so we don't need to add it in the if statement. Then, and so we're returning this one that's already formatted as a percentage. We'll click on save. So because we'll be using the same format for the many measures, so let's confirm if this one works properly before we start copying and pasting for the rest. So I'm going to show it in my card visual. And since I'm looking at year on year, I'll need to bring in the slicer for the year. So slicer for the year, let's format it. So I want to show drop down. Okay, let me use style for now. For slicer header, then for the values, we can see the values properly. It's 25. Then bold it. So just click on 1 year first. Then I need to bring in. So I want to see my sales and the. So also increase. Let's increase the font size to. So for label, so sales, and let's add year on year. So 23% or 7%, and let's check. Okay, so for 2020, there's no year on year, so we cannot see. There's no previous year, so we cannot see any value for year on year. Then, so it's working the way we want it to work. So, but if we don't have anything selected, okay, it's not showing. It's showing blank. So yeah, it's working properly the way we want it to work. So I'm going to now put this in the folder and just copy and paste for the rest, so that we can use it. We can create for the remaining metrics. So we need all this, the year on year for all of them, before we go to adding a color code for the year on year value. So same thing again. I'll just have to put this in the folder. So the folder will be for year on year.
I'm so sorry for interrupting. I just joined. Please, do we have the data set that we're working on? Did you send it to us?
No, I don't think you have the data set. Do you want to follow along now?
That was
I think it's best you finish up, then we put everything in a drive later, and then everybody can then watch and work. Because if we say we have about just 2 hours for this section, if you start following up, people will start calling you back to want to understand something that they are not getting and all of that. So I don't think we have that enormous time. All right. So just allow you finish up, and then we'll send the data later. If that makes sense.
Okay.
And of course, we'll have the video on our YouTube channel, so it's public to everybody.
Okay. So let's continue. So we have one year on year there. So have to create for the remaining four of them. So just put them in this folder. So I'm just going to take everything about sales. Um, so I'm going to use Control D to highlight all of them. I'm going to change it to profit. So get the value for profit. Then we'll do again for quantity and profit margin, the rest of them. So Control D to highlight. So I have profit. So let me do for profit margin. So same thing, quantity. Then for the last one, average discounts. So when you're saving the name, make sure that it's the same spelling you use for all the names so that they can match when you want to just quickly change it. So now we have the measures. So we can do for the feed parameter. Or okay, let me do for the color code. Let me just copy the measure for the color code so I can have it here. So for this one, we just need for if it's positive, let it be green. Then if it's negative, red. So this color code here is for red, but it's not really. It's a it's a color code for red. So I don't want to use just the red here. So I need the code, this particular color code. So that's why I use this red here. So I'll copy it and use it again. Create another measure. So I'll put them in a folder too. So this measure will be for the color code. So why we are also doing the why I'm doing the previous year variable here is because there is no previous year measure. So if I want to say if the sales is greater than previous year, I have to first do the measure inside this. I have to first do the variable like inside this measure before I can now return the if statements, like for it to change from the green and to the red. So we'll do the same thing. Once we save this one, we'll cost copy, just change from sales, profit, and the rest because it's the same format we are doing, but just we need to change the metric so that each of the metric will work properly for the color code when we switch years. So we'll put it in the folder again. So this folder will be for color. Just put them. Then new measure. So we have sales. So we need profits, quantity, and profits. I need to change it here. The profit margin. Then average unit price and quantity. No, average discounts, not average unit price. Average discounts. Then for the last color code, new measure, quantity. So now they have the measures here, color code measure. So let's create the field parameter. So this is a field parameter, like I said. I need to have the so I can put it in the slicer to work on this. So with the field parameter, I'm going to do the same arrangement I have here. So the metric I want to use first will be the one I'll put in the parameter first. The last one I want to see is quantity. So that's what I should put last. So go to modeling to add a field parameter. Go to modeling, click on new parameter, click on fields. Then you can edit the name of the parameter. So the parameter name, I just want to save it as aggregate, AGG in short form. And I'm go to my measures table and pick the measure. So I want to arrange it this way. So let it start from sales, average discount, then quantity. So you look at the way it's arranged here. So that is how it will be also on the slicers when you add it in. Add the slicer to this page, yes. Click on create. So now it has created a table for me with the measure name, the measure, and the order. So this order we have here, that's what we can use to now call in the measure and create a label value for it. So if you look at it, the orders are different for each of the measure or the parameter. If you go to the table, you can also see it. Or for sales, this is for 0. So it starts from 0, and we have 5 here. The last one is 4. You can also group them if you have maybe more than one measure representing sales. You can add a group in there for it. But on this one we are doing, we're not going to group it. So we'll use this order now to create the label for it. So first off, this slicer that they put it in is not the slicer we want. So we need to change it to the button slicer. So if you don't have the button slicer on your Power BI desktop, we need to go to the options and settings, go to the preview settings and add up the button slicer. But if you have it here, you just change it. So from this slicer to the button slicer, then you can start formatting it. So we don't need the title on the layout because this button slicer shows like a card. So on the layout, we want to have 5 cards shown and we put the arrangement on horizontal. So we have 5 cards. So let's show 5 cards. Put it on horizontal. Yeah, because of the screen size we're using, the labels are so small. So this is the callout value. Or for this particular slicer, the callout value is like the name. So it's there. We're going to add the label. So the label we're going to add now will be the amount for sales, profits, each of them. So make it dynamic here. So first off, let's edit. So I'm going to use for the callout values. Let me use 30. Okay. Then the shape should be, I want to use a rounded rectangle shape. So go to format, slicer settings. Okay. On the layout. Okay, buttons. I think it's the buttons. So the buttons should be rounded rectangle. Then spacing between visuals. So we need to space them too. So space between buttons. I'm going to give it 15. Oh, let me see the format I used for here. So 22. So 22. And for the button, I want to show for this. For now, the selected is showing us black, but we're going to change it. So on the button, the state is for all now. So for all, we leave it this way. But for selected, we need to change the selected. For button, for the fill color, for selected, it should be Selected, want to have fill color, purple, or transparency reduce. Then for call out values for selected, so put it on selected, call out values, want it to be black, so it will show. Then let's create the label. Let's bring in the label before we finish the editing. So for the label, if you look at the button slicer now, when a metric is selected, so keep this here. So let me drop this one here, and let's remove this, or let's drop it down for now. So if you look at the label, let's check the label. If you go to the call out, after the call out value, you're going to see something like a label. If you turn on the label, oh, there's nothing here. And if you drop any value for now, like let's say, let's increase the font size to like 50. So if I drop in any value, like I can take my tails and I drop here. So it's going to show, this is showing for only selected now. So I have to still go back to state all and turn on the label. Then if I drop sales here, you see that sales will have to show for everything because we have not used the order to select it. So sales is showing for everything. So that's why we need a measure to be able to know that when this order is 0, it should show us for sales, which is this value correct. When the order is 1, it shows for profit value. Just like that, we get to the last value. And we're also going to format it because the label is like a text. It should show as a text value. So you need to format it for it to show properly. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to remove this label I have here already and also remove it on the, so on the selected, I'm going to clear it off so that we can create a measure for that particular one. So we'll go back to the measures table. I want to have the measure. So I'm going to create the measure. And for that particular measure now, we're going to call it like, let's call it label. And what I want to have here, I want to, my first variable, like I can save it as I will save it as my KPI. So because I'm looking at the order, the feed parameter is saved in. So I have to go use, I'm going to use selected value function and click on my, my feed parameter table. I saved it as AGG. So I'm going to click on the table and the order. Then on the return statement, so on the return statement, we have to use the switch function too. So we'll be making use of the switch function almost for most of our conditional statements we're writing here. Then for my expression now, because I don't want to start writing the selected value again for each of them, I'm just going to reference the KPI variable I created. Then I'm going to start now. So we know the 0 is for sales. So when you put 0, you're going to put comma. Then we want to return the sales. But if we return the sales like that, it's not going to show us like in the value we want it to be. So we want it formatted. So what we're going to do, we'll format. So when it's selected 0, which is like for the sales. So I want to format sales. So I'm going to call in my sales measure. Then in the format I want sales to be, because I know that my sales should be in millions. So I can save it in millions now. So if I need to come back here to change it, like later on, I can still come back to change it. But we'll leave it in millions format for now. So for millions, we have 0.0. Okay, no, 0 comma. So 1 comma is 1,000 separator. Then I want to add 2 decimal points. 2.0, then M to represent million. We need to put the currency sign. So for the currency sign, we're looking at the dollar sign now. So this is for my value 1, result 1. So now next to value 2, result 2. So this is for sales. So what we can do, copy one line down, get 5 of them. So if you come here, you change it. So the next order is 1. So what this return, the switch statement is doing now is that it's going to go into this table now. And we know that the order is from 0 to 4. So when it gets here, it picks the first order, which is 0. Then when it's 0, format sales. So return the format of sales as million. So when it's one, then format profits. So we change the value here to formatting profits, and the profits will not be in millions because it's really small. So we'll leave it in thousands, and we don't want a decimal point. So one comma represents 1,000. So this is like 1,000 without a decimal point. Then put K here. And for profit margin, so the format should be in percentage. So you're going to put the order it is here is 2. For percentage, so for percentage, we have 0, 0.0012 decimal points, then put percentage. For the fourth one, which is the order 3, we have the average discount. So remember, you need to take note of the order you save these measures so that you can have it return the measures you want it to return. For that one, we have 2 decimal points. So we just put it 0, and it's not in thousands, so 0.00. For sales, for the last one, which is quantity. So for quantity, if you want to show it in full, so you just put K, 0K, or just put the number sign to show it in full. But if I want to show it like to have a one comma for 1,000 separate, or I need to put a comma after the number, then I'll put the number sign again. So then I don't need 1,000 to show at the end because I've already used 1,000 separator for it. Then the order for that one is 4. So if you've done everything correct, we need to now close the switch statement in the return. So we're going to put it here to check, because this is the only way we can have the order string correctly, since this is a parameter and it knows the order it's saved in. So we'll come back to the label. We can now turn on the label for all. So, okay, this is unselected. So drop the label selected. So we place the other one to drop the label for selected, and we can turn it for go to all and return the label again to show for the remaining ones. So to be sure that this is correct, we can bring in a card visual to confirm. So my card visual, I will just add the other metrics to look at them. So profit margin, average discount, and quantity. So the values are the same thing. So this is what we have in our normal card visual, and this is what we have here. So the good thing about this one is that we can now select it and to change the values of what we create at the bottom side. So now let's start adding the charts. So we'll leave this. So we're going to use this one to add the year-on-year values. So let's remove this one, and for this, I'm going to turn off the background. I'll also turn off the border and the background. Then on my reference label, because I want to have my reference label showing me here, I'll put it at the back. On my reference label, I'm going to add in the year-on-year values. So we're going to go to reference label. So on sales, what you want to see on sales is the label for sales. So the year-on-year for sale. So again, we have to do the increase the font size. So let's just look at this one and use the same font size we use here. So on the font size of the label, on the reference label, I have so my values. Okay, I already turned on my values and the details. So on the values, I have 30 for value, and on the detail, it's 24. So do the same thing. So first off, we need to remove the divider line, and we'll go in again to sales. So when you're clicking at because you want to add the color code, you need to go in and select the particular reference label you want to add the color code to. So we're looking at sales, year-on-year sales. So we select it again. Then before you can now turn off the title, and on the value, so 30, to put it on semi-bold, and we can now add the color code to it now. So the color code we created. So when you have a measure you've created already, you can use the field value for the color code, and you go and select the particular color code. So color code we're looking at here is for sales. So now sales is greater than the previous year. So we have it green, and we need another value. So what we are looking at here, I use another measure here, so to show the details. So what I'm looking at my details, I have a measure here. The measure is to show the previous year value. So when sales is selected, I want to see when I select a year. So when I select 2020, I want to see versus 2021. And when I select just like that, to go 1 year backward. And when I go back to 2020, I don't want to see any value showing here. So that it will show me like it's blank because there's no previous year for this. So previous year on year is not going to show, and the other value for the metric is not going to show too. So if I'm going to do it the same way, then I also need different measures because I need to show that if previous year is blank, then I don't want to show anything, which is what I'm showing here. So if I copy this, I'm going to use it again. So copy and use for all the measures. So this is for average discounts. So what is shown here is that, again, we don't have a previous year. So we just want to just say, okay, this is for the previous year. Then when previous year, if previous year is equals to blank, then give us, show us this, like there's no value. Then if not, show us versus and current year minus one. So current year now is the selected value of the year. So any year you select now is the current year. Then it will now go minus one from the year so that it will give you the previous year. So because we want it to be dynamic also, and that's why we're creating for all of them. So each of the metric will have its own versus previous year, which will show like the number before the year selected. So do the same thing, or let me put it in a folder. So I'll just say versus last year. And we'll have for, this is average discount. So we need to do for sales and profit and the rest. So quickly do it. So I need to do for quantity. And okay, profit margin, last one. So I have the 5 of them. So let me just add them. We have the value. So we not turn on the title because we want it to be dynamic. So we're going to put that measure in the details. So turn on the details. And this is for sales. So I'll just drag it on so to show me versus 2020, 2022. And I'll make it bold. So we're doing the same thing for all of them. So just the same format. Go to profit. So from profits now, the label you need to add will be for the year on year for profits. Then you go in and from it. So turn off the title because we don't need the title. Go to the value 30, put it in semi-bold, and the color code will be on the value. So open the color code, click on profit. This is for profits. Then come to the detail, turn on the detail, and bring in for the versus last year for profits. Since we need it to be dynamic, then put it on 25. So same thing for the rest, do the same thing. Let's go to profit margin. So bring profit margin, select it again, turn on the title. Then we're only working on the values and the details. So the values 30, semi-bold, then color code. So on the details 25, semi-bold or average discount, and okay, so I've not brought in the value. So I need to bring in the source profit margin. Then select another reference label, which is average discounts. So on the average discounts, you'll bring in the year on year first. Okay, turn off the title, don't need the title. So value 30, then bold. To put the color code again. And okay, color, this is for average discounts. Then on the detail, so we need to add the versus last year on the detail for average discounts. So last one, quantity. So same thing. So you need to be sure you're putting the right metrics here. Then on the detail, so quantity 25. Semi-bold. Okay, so we have all of them here. So we don't really need this. We don't need this two again because we have it here already as a stylizer. So what we do on the color value, so turn it off, turn color value off, and turn off the label. Then we need this to be at the back. So we'll send it backward. Or okay, let's bring the parameter forward. So go to format at the top and bring to front. We bring it to front, it will cover this other one because we have not formatted it finish. So finish formatting it. So what we need to do, we need to make it off the color code. Go to the button and turn off the background. So turn off the background. So this background is turned off for selected. So we need to go to the button style and put it in all. So let's come back here. Okay, it's already turned off here too. Then we need to go into the button. So the fill color, so shape. Okay, this is for all. Fill color, we need to have its transparency reduced. So we can see the card visual at the back to show that showing the year on year. So reduce the transparency, increase the transparency for the buttons. Then on the border, so we want for all of them, we want a light border. So only the selected one that we're going to change the border. So let's see. Okay, there we can increase the width to show this. And for selected, so the state is in all now. So you go to selected, and for selected, we'll have the same thing, but for the border, we need it to be purple. Then increase the width. So let's see if we select this. Then we can reduce the transparency to for shape. So see on the button, when you go to selected, you go to the view, then increase the transparency. So let it like match with the almost the same transparency with the background. So it's not be too much, but it will still show. Then on the call out value, so we need the selected one to be bold. So you go to the call out. This is for all. So change it to selected. Then this is semi bold. Okay, let's see. Let's increase the fonts. Okay, this is for value. So we're looking at labels. So for our labels, we need it to be bold for selected. Then we'll change the color to black. So that to show more for selected. So we have our setup, finish setting it up. Then we can now do, okay, so we need to add the selection button too. So another thing on the button slicer. So if you go to the buttons, selection icon, turn it on. For all the states, we'll turn off the icon, then only turn it on for selected. For selected, it's turned on. Then icon color should be black so we can see it. So we can put the size on 25%, 25 piece. So we turned off selection for the other one. So we want to only see the selection icon for the one selected. So for our chart, from what we have here, we'll just have 4 charts. So we're showing almost everything. So this like for the product level. So from category down to the subcategory, down to the product level with while using our 3 map to show it. So we can go down to the level we want to show with the 3 map. Then we have a month chart, so a column chart showing months, and we're highlighting the highest month for it. So we also need a measure for this to show the highest of each of the um, the metric selected. So if we go to profit margin, we're seeing the highest ones here. If we click on profits, we're also seeing the highest. And when we go to sales, we see the highest. So we also make use of the order so that it will know that when we click on zero on sales, it knows that the order is zero. Then it will show the highest for the sales of the month, just like that. So that's the kind of measure we're going to create. But we're going to add the chart first before we do the measures. So what we're adding here, we need a column chart, sales by market. So this one is also, there's a drill down here going down to the city level, because the market for this particular data is like a continent level. So if you click on the drill down, you can go drill down to the region, and from the region you can go to the country. So down to, okay, I stopped at the country level. So if I'm adding more drill down, I can add the state and the city level so that I can go down to the lowest level. So when you activate the drill down, so the drill down works for all the other charts to filter it. But if you don't want it to work for it, so you can click on it and select the format to turn off the interaction with the other charts. So that's what we're going to do for what we're creating. So first off, let me add the month chart. So I'm going to use the clustered bar chart. And let me sort my months. I want to sort the months by the month number. So you can start from January. So we're not going to use this metric that we created here again. So we'll just focus on, since we want it to be dynamic, we're going to use the field parameter here. So we'll add the field parameter to the y-axis, and for the x-axis, so we need the month. Then we can go into the format. So just format and duplicate the chart. So format to turn off the where, since we are going to use a data label, I'm going to turn off the title. So let's turn off the title for the x-axis and turn off for y-axis too. So when you want, if you want this thing to also change to be dynamic, so don't bother yourself to edit this. Since it's on profit margin, to show you profit margin, the only thing you need to do is to just change the font size to what you want. But don't bother yourself changing this, because if you want to change this, then it will not be dynamic again. So since I did not change it, if I go to profit now, so I'm going to see profit by month. So the title will change dynamically, because this is also, this slides are affecting the chart since it's a field parameter. So with this now, we can turn off the, we don't need the y-axis, we don't need the values, so we can turn it off. Or I'll just increase the size of the x-axis, then I turn on the data label. So we can make it bold. Then data label. And data label, where we should put it in none, so we can see it here. Or let me see auto. Okay, let me leave it at auto for now, and let me see what it shows in profit margin. Okay, average discounts, quantity, and for the sales. Okay, showing correctly. So now we need to create the measure for the color code so that we can highlight the highest, because for now you can see that it's showing us the same color, or we've not set any color, but we need the color code to show, to highlight the highest. So if you want to do the normal color code changing without the feed parameter, we make use of the max x function, because if I want to show the highest, I have to use the max x function, and if I want to show the lowest, I use the min x. So I'm going to show usually max x to show the highest here. So what I'm going to do on my function, I need to use the switch. I'm going to use the switch statement to switch and know if this value is 0. So give me this. So I need to copy the color code. On the color format, I have, okay, month color. So this is what we're using here. So just copy one. So I'm using this color code. This is purple color. So let me create it under the folder for the color code. So month color is equals to, so we're looking at two options. And when selected value is 0, and so selected value, then we're looking at the order of the feed parameter. So when feed parameter order is equals to 0, that is the function. And now we're looking at max x. So when max x, so this one is for the max, to get the maximum. We're looking at all, use all functions to bring in. And since you're looking at, since it's a month column here, we need to match it to the month number, because the month number is what makes the order work properly. So you have to now use all selected function, then the date table month, comma, since you're not selected, then month number. Then for the max X, the next thing after the table is the expression. So expression we're looking at is sales. So if is equals to 0 and max X, so this one now is to get the maximum month, then comma max X. So we need to put in the, okay, I think I'm having, so after the expression, okay, let me confirm. Okay, is equals to sales. Oh, I need to put equals to. So when this is equals to, when is equals to sales, so meaning that when the highest month is equals to the sales there in the chart created, then it should give me, so when it's equals to sales, then we need to have the color code. So I'm still getting error. Let me see where the error is coming from. So when this equals to sales, let's see, move bracket, comma, selected value. Okay, when it's equals to sales, comma. So where am I getting the mistake now? Okay, max X. I need to close the, month number. After month number, comma, let me add the comma here. The table month number. Oh, let me just copy it. I wonder what is giving me the, okay. Oh, okay. I did not use the switch. So I'm supposed to use switch. No wonder I was having the mistake. So switch through, since I'm doing conditional statements, I'm doing logical statements, sorry. So switch through then. So date table, month name, month number. Also selected date table months, date table month number. So this next one should be 1. So the first order 0, next one should be 1, and this should be for profits. So second one, so we need 5. So this is 3. So this is for sales. Second one should be change it to 1, and when is 1 is profit. We're also looking at when the highest profit is equals to the profit there, then it should give us the same color. So if you want to use different color for different metric, you can change it here in this particular function, in this particular measure. But we want one color to maintain one color for all the highest. Next one should be profit margin. And the order is 2. So we need to check the order properly so I can get the right one. So for 4, we have average discounts. And for the fifth one is quantity. So for the last statement, so when it's not the highest, then the last statement, else, we're going to just put in the color code for the gray color, which is E6, E6, E6. Then going to save. So this should save as a text. So the format for the color code should always be in text. Then let's add it to the chart. So we're going to format. So we're to format the column. So use conditional formatting, and we put it on field value. Then select the measure we've created. So it's now working properly, because what we stated in the measure is that it should only pick the highest. So that's what we're doing here perfectly. Then we can have, for the next one, next chart we want to have, we're going to bring in a bar chart for the or we can copy this chart. Let's copy it so that we don't have to change much format here. I'm going to remove the month, and I'm still using the parameter. So I'll move the month, turn it to a bar chart. Then I'm going to bring in the market. So we have on the data, we have market level is like the continent level. Is the region. After the region, another hierarchy, country. And we have under the country, the states, and there's also city. So I want to add everything. So markets. Okay. The region needs to come here. So under the market, country. So for this, I'm not showing the highest, because I need to, if we want to show the highest, I need to create another measure for it. Or I'm going to remove the conditional format. And color code, we're using purple. Or you need it to match. So this particular color code, I need to copy it again. So I can copy from the measure we created. So more colors, and I'm going to paste it. So to drill down, if you activate the drill down in the chart, turn on drill down. So let's increase the size. So we can go down the from the market to the region. So the hierarchy, the way we set it up here, region to country, from country to state to look at the metric, and from state to city level. So everything is showing here because we added it here. We turn on the drill down for us to see it. So if you don't want to drill down, you can turn it off and can go back to the highest level. So the first level we're looking at is the market level. Then we have a chart for segments, but that should be so the same thing. I can copy this chart, and I'm going to turn it to the donut chart. And remove all this. So don't want to show all this. What we're showing here is segments. So you can either put the segment on the detail or put it on the legend. So anyone. Then we'll do some formatting on this. So it's also because we're using the feed parameter, it's still going to change to when we click on it. Everything is going to change because the same thing we're using here. So if I want to format it, I want to show the label, so detail label. Okay, I want to show the legend on the bottom center. Then increase the text, increase the size, turn off the title. Then on the slices, so on the slices, I'm going to reduce the spacing in between. Then for color, so since we're using purple, so we're going to for the highest, so the highest here, so they're almost the same thing. Let's go to sales. So this segment, corporate segment, having the highest sales, so that should be the color with the darkest color there. So we can use this. So users use different shades of purple. So this one should be light, and the consumer should be darker than the corporate. Okay, corporate is the highest, self-employed. Then for the last chart, so by using the stream map, so I'm going to bring it here, put it here, and we have we have it doing the breakdown by product level. And for the products, if we go to our table, we have, let's check the table. So for products, so this is our data table. So product level here, there is a product, but there's no ID, product ID here, just product name. There's category and there's subcategory. So we can start from category, get the breakdown to subcategory, then go down to product level direct. So we use this chart. So you can also use this bar chart and turn on the drill down, but I want to use this tree map to show it. So analyze should be the aggregate we want to use. So of course we're using the aggregate here for our feed parameters so that to be dynamic. So analyzing should be that one. Then explain by. So explain by starts with the category. So category is the highest level here for the product. So explain by category, then another explain subcategory, then down to the product level. So you can now open them. So if you click on the first one, so show high value or low value, we want to show by category. So see all the category, so high value, low value, looking at subcategory, then to product level. So we now have to go in now to change the color. So start with the color for the bar. So positive, we want to have the negative. So if there's any negative value, like for the profit margin on profits, let's have something like pink. The bar background, which is this, is okay that way. For the values, so the font size is too small. To increase the font size for them, headers. To increase font size for headers, subtitles too. This is too small. Then subtitle, let's do 20. So analysis, analysis type absolute. For the three, I want to show this size is 100%, so we can increase it. See top mode. Okay, level maximum. Category labels. Then we need to the connector, we don't need this blue line. So go to connectors. So selected line, let's do black. So because of the space we have here, I cannot really make this big. But if you want to see it properly, if you expand it, the page size is still big too. But you're going to see it properly. But this is to show be very big. But if you go in, you can use the two tips. Two tips can show you the particular category we're selecting, and you can select on another one to change it. Then once you change the category, you also need to select subcategory you want to see the product under. Once you click it, those product shows there. So the feed parameter is also working for it. So if I click on profit, I have same thing, or anyone that is showing me for profit now, because I saved the negative value as the pink. So anyone going to this other side means that this is for loss for profit level. Or if it's not profit or profit margin, then we only see this purple color, because the purple color is just like the color that we choose for the bars. So unless it's a negative bar, then it's going to show the pink value. So positive bar is purple, and we cannot have negative for sales or the only place we can have negative is when we get to the profit or profit margin. So that is when you can see the pink bar showing for the values of this in this particular chart. Let me just increase the color, like to show like somehow like red. So with this format we have done here now, I want to use the same format for my slicer. So I don't want to make the year slicer to be same. So on this year now, what we're going to do is that first off, we change this slicer to the button slicer. So put it on the button. Then I'm going to copy this format. So use the brush icon to copy it and click on. So the format is the same here now. The only thing we need to do now, this is horizontal, this is vertical. So on vertical, on the slicer settings, we'll go to layout. Instead of horizontal, make it vertical. So we don't want value showing because value is showing here. We don't want any value showing here. Since we copied this value showing here, what we need to do now on the call out, go and turn off the labels. So we don't want any label showing here. To turn it off or delete the label from it. Then do the same thing for the state when it's all. So remove the label or just delete it, because even if it's on, it will not show anything again. So we just wanted the format, so we don't want to show the values. Yeah, because the values, we don't need the values, we just need the format, and we don't want to start going back to do the same format for it. So that doing that format will take time, so that's why I just copied the format I'll be using here. For this one, I'm going to turn on the title. So the title should be turned on. Increase the font size to 24. So on the color values, we can reduce it. So let's see if reduce value. So the year will show, but then on selected to 26. So selection icon will show. Then we can now copy. So we have 3 slicers here. I have one slicer for this, and I have another one for the age group. So just easy to just copy and paste this, and then change the data from year to age group. Then there's another slicer by gender. So paste do the same thing. To remove it, bring in the gender column. So let's see what's left. I think we have another measure to create. Okay, for the dynamic title, so this is a text box. We have business dashboard here and showing for sales, because sales is selected now. We will select profits. So this is showing for profits. Profit margin also says showing for profit margin. So we need to have this. Then last setup will, to bring in the title here, or like let's say the logo of the dashboard. So let's do this and do this other one. So what we're doing here, I think this is a measure. So added the measure added in the text box. So the first part is just the normal written part. Then this other side is a measure. And if we check this measure is like, let's see, what is the measure? Metric selected. Okay. So this is just also while using the order for here. So just do switch and show the metric selected. So let's create this measure so we can add our title. So just copy, and I'm going to just explain the measure. So I know that my order is when is zero is sales, and I want the title to be dynamic. So I'm just saying when is one selected, when select one is selected. So the DAX knows that this one represents the profit. Well, I need to just okay, show me that this is profit. Then at the end of everything, I'm doing the return statement. So return showing for. So this is like a text. So that's why it's inside quotes. And this variable A. So this variable A is like, okay, when it's selected one, show profit, but this one is like the text that shows before it. So that's what this is just doing. So for you to bring it into a line chart, in to a text box, first off, you need to add the text box. So go to my insert. Then first I want to write the business dashboard. So I'm going to use bold, semi-bold, and increase the font to like, let's do 54. So business dashboard. Then I need two stroke. So can reduce the font size of this one. Let's do okay 44. And this is two. Okay, apart from 54, let me see. So from 54 to 44. Let's do 44. Then this should be 40 or 42. And now the metric that we added, the measure we created, this one that is metric selected, we need to bring it in. So what you need to do now, click on value. So ask a question, you call in that metric name. So maybe the first time it might not really show. So metric selected. So if it does not show, you need to cancel and try again. So now it's not showing. So once you see it, show this underline here, and you can see it showing here for the value because we selected quantity here. You can see the result showing for quantity. You can click on save. Then you can now edit this to increase the font size. So that one should be also semi-bold, but we need to use, if this one is 54, so we can do 36. Then expand it and put where we want it to be. So this should not have any background. So turn off the background for the text box. Showing for quantity, so showing for average discount. So showing for profit margin, why this is showing for profit, and showing for sales. So the last one, let's add so the name of the dashboard or name of the company. I'm going to use text box again, and this should be bold. Then font size, So we don't want background, so turn off the background. Okay, I think I need to do bold. See. Then I need to bold this. Put it on. Okay, schedule UI, then bold. So now let's select different years. So 2020, there's no previous year, so we cannot see anything on the year on year. So then when we get to the next year, and when it's not selected, let's see. So when it's not selected to, we're not seeing anything because we're looking at year on year. So until we select it, then the value shows. So we have checked. Let's see. I think everything is complete now. So we have been able to go through the importing the data. The data was already clean, so we created only one calculated column. So then for the age group, created measures we used here. So did the feed parameter for dynamic slicer, then formatted the slicer to show us the color code for selection this way. Then also created another measure to highlight the highest for the month. So because when we select a month, we want to see the highest. Then added our feed parameter to our chart to make it dynamic. Then formatted the slicers to work properly. So we have done everything in this dashboard. So the only thing, let's check the arrangement of the chart. So I want to be sure that I have equal spacing. So I'm just click on this one too. So I want to have check for the vertical alignment. I'm aligning all the shapes. So go to format and distribute vertically. So for the card visual showing this year on year values, now you need to arrange it in a place where it will not be too clickable. So when you want to click, you will not click on it. That's why I reduce the size. And I'm going to use the format here to increase the vertical to bring it down a little bit the way I want it to be. Then remember I put it at the back of this slicer. So even when I want to click on it, I'm not going to click on that particular one, but I'm going to click on the slicer because it's at the back. So that is how to show it. So put it at the back. So okay, let's see. It's not selected properly. Let me bring it to the front again. Bring forward. Okay, so this is coming to the front. So we can see it and select it. Then the other one is at the back. We don't really need it because we're not selecting it. So the values are changing when we change it because it's a card visual and this slicer is interacting with it. So it's working properly. If we go to the age group, looking at a different age group, to also see the changes. Then also for the gender, you can see changes here. Then go back to the first year. And if you don't want to click any year, you can just uncheck it and we have all the values showing for all the years. So, but we're looking at it on this, so you like to select one particular year, so we can see these changes here for showing the year-on-year values, and the year is interacting again. So, if 2023 is showing us the previous year is 2022, then 2020, so we can see 2021, see 2020, and for 2020, so there's no previous year, so we'll put it as this blank value. So we're done with the dashboard. I don't know if we're going to take questions since we have a little time. Maybe we can take questions for the remaining time or any other thing.
Beautiful. Boss, sure, I will not come for one-on-one section.
You're free to come.
All right, guys. Does anybody have any question? I'm sure you are done, sir.
Yes, I'm done. So can
Uh,
take questions now.
Does anyone have any question? Okay. I assume with the silence that there are no other questions. So just to reconfirm, we are allowed to recreate this and post on our social media handles and tag you, right?
Yeah, you can recreate it.
So the video will be ready on or before the end of tomorrow or at latest on Monday. And then you can watch and recreate and post and tag a speaker as well as tag Abuja Power BI user group. Now that will be all for tonight. Let's allow all of us go and rest. Once again, thank you so much, Mr. Biopo.
Yeah.
If I pronounce that, I wanted to pronounce each of your name to be sure I pronounce it well.
Okay, you got that one. Biopo. Then my surname is Amakri.
Amakri. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. So guys, you can invite next week we meet again. Please be on the lookout. The flyers will be coming out. There may be a little bit of change in the time. So just be on the lookout and please invite your friends and invite your loved ones. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Do have a very, very wonderful night rest across. For those of us in Nigeria, let's have a wonderful night. Good night, everybody. Have a wonderful night. Thank you.
Okay.
So the data set will be so this is we're going to do it 2 ways. For the data set, if you're on the community WhatsApp group, you're going to get it there. You're going to get it on our social media handle, or you come back to this place and there will be a link to the data set on the chat. If that makes sense.
Okay. So I'll have to send you the data setting.
Yes, please. You can send it to see that then we can from there go and create a folder for it.
Okay.